Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I finally got my new camera. My GoPro 8 died, and I ordered a new GoPro 10, and I found out none of my accessories for the GoPro 8 would work on the GoPro 10. So I ordered new accessories. So I got the media mod and charger with a couple extra batteries, so I should be good to go for a while, I hope. Anyway, I worked with GoPro on the 8, worked with their service department, which went very well actually. They were extremely helpful. And since when I bought the GoPro 10, I bought the contract with it, which gives you online storage and support if you break down and that kind of stuff. And I didn't actually realize that contract goes for all your GoPros. So while working with them, they said, no, there's no way you can fix the GoPro 8, but we can swap it out for 75 bucks. So I said, well, that sounds like a decent deal. And so I swapped it out, and they came back and said, well, we're having troubles charging the $75 to your credit card, so we're just going to give it to you for free. And I said, well, shoot, I can't hardly complain about that. And then he said, I got another piece of good news. He says, since we don't have any GoPro 8s to swap out, we're going to give you a GoPro 9 instead. Well, the thing about that is that the GoPro 9 actually shares the same media mod and batteries as the new GoPro 10 that I just bought. So that $49 that I spent on that contract has really paid off so far. So I cannot complain. I have to give kudos to the GoPro service people. I'm sure they won't do that for everybody, and it was just a fluke that it happened to me. But I'm sure appreciative, and I'm going to give a shout out to them. So anyway, I'm working on this AT3 again, and it won't fire at all. I had to tear it apart and put in new bearings. I started it up before, and it was rumbling like the bearings were bad. I thought they seemed good when I had taken it apart and put the new seals in it, but I guess my thoughts were not correct. So anyway, I tried to start it the other day after getting the new bearings, and then I put new seals as well. Pardon me. And anyway, I found out that even though it had spark, it had gas, it had compression, it wouldn't even pop. Think I need a drink of water, and I don't have any here. But anyway, let's carry on and see if I can make it through this. I got out my meter to the dial meter, set it up to set the timing, and I first, of course, set the plug gap to, or the points gap, I mean, to 0.3 millimeters. And then I ran it until it was at top dead center, reset the dial gauge to 0, and then turned the engine backwards to about 2 millimeters, 2.0 before top dead center. And then I tried to, I turned it back to 1.8, which is the normal setting for this. And I tried to move the timing adjustment on the points until the points just opened. And I couldn't get there. There wasn't enough adjustment to do that. So I gave up in frustration and went in and watched another episode of NCIS and went to bed and woke up the next morning. As happens many times, I had an epiphany. I think that possibly when I put the coil assembly, armature I think they call it, on the shaft, there's a key that has to go into a groove, and I suspect that I just pushed the key out of the way and it's not actually in the right place. So I've got to pull that armature again and verify that I'm on the keyway and that everything is good there. That's the only thing I can think of that would cause me not to be able to set the timing properly. So I'm going to go on with that, and I don't think I'll film it because I've filmed it so many times already. You can look back in some of my old ones and see me do that. But I'm going to pull that all apart and see if I can determine why it won't time. I'll see you then. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to put a little more time in on this AT3 I'm going to try and sell here. I've been 3 times now I've thought I had it and get everything back together and then find out that I didn't have it. So the last thing was a problem with the with getting it to start. Actually, it just wouldn't even pop. And I found that the timing was way off. And it was off because of a little bitty tab in the armature. So we're going to take a look at that over here, and I'll show you what it is. Right here, there's a little tab. And that little tab mates up with this little groove in the governor. And the governor, the shaft of the governor, is actually the cam for the timing. So this is worn down, and it was allowing this to move probably about 10 degrees, and that's way too much. And once you tighten it down, it'll stay there for a while, but your timing will keep getting off. I mean, it'll move. So that's no good. So what I did was I took a little pin punch, got behind there, gave it a couple of whacks, and then, so I can find it here, in there, and this is how much it moves now. So once I tighten this down, I think it will be okay, and I should be able to set the timing properly, and then hopefully this puppy will fire right off. So that's where I'm at. I'll bring you back in a minute after I get it in place, and we'll see if we can't get this guy running. All right, so we put our dial gauge in here. I'm not going to show you all that. You can look back on some old ones, or other people actually have better timing ones. Go see a guy named Dale Swieger in Montana. He's He's much better at it than I am. Anyway, you block these out. I used a piece of wire that I cut up, just regular wiring wire. Actually, I think it was, I don't see it here. Oh, there it is. So just a piece of wire and stick it in, pull these all the way out, jam that in there, hold those out, turn the engine over until you're at top dead center, then turn it back this way until it's about 2.5 millimeters, and then till the gauge goes 2.5 millimeters. Then bring it back to 1.8 this way, and when it gets at 1.8, leave it there. Put your buzz box or your light, either one, on this right here, post, and then adjust the points down here with this little thing. These should have been set to 0.3 millimeters, the gap, and then adjust this for your timing. And you want to set it so the points just open at 1.8 millimeters on the dial gauge. And so you turn this until you get to that 1.8, and then set this until the points just open. In other words, the light goes out or the buzzer goes off. Okay? All right, we did all that. This is locked in good and tight. I bent that tab and it worked. All right, so I hooked up all the wires. Don't forget this little guy going to ground here. You need that ground. I put in new condenser. I probably didn't need to, but I was questioning whether it was good or bad, so I replaced it. I had one. And what's next? Well, we could we could throw some, if we have a B8ES. I don't know. I have some. I bought a bunch of B8. I think it's RES or BR8ES plugs. I don't know if they're different or not. I didn't realize they had the resistor in them. So you could probably use them if you took the resistor cap off of here. If you got a 5K cap up here, they put the resistor in the spark plug, I think. I don't know about that for sure. But anyway, I think we're going to squirt a little. I got to hook the ground up. Before I started working on these wires, I disconnected the ground up here, so I wouldn't get any sparks and arcs and so on. So we'll put all that back together, squirt a little premix down inside the spark plug hole, and see if this thing will fire now. I'll be back. All right, the first thing we're going to do is make sure we have spark. So let's give it a shot. Hope you can see that. Lots of good spark there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope it's not true, because I know better. But I'm thinking the only thing that can be wrong here is that I put the piston in backwards. That would be a real bummer for me, because I know a lot better than that. I've done it before I knew better. But I thought sure I was looking at it when I put it in. We're going to soon find out. Well, folks, I took the carburetor off and pulled the the valves, and the piston is not in backwards. I'm kind of at a loss. I have no idea what could be wrong with this thing. The next thing I'm going to try is I'm going to hook up a timing light. I'm going to put the timing at 1.8, and I'm going to mark where there's a groove on the end of the governor. I'm going to mark where that is with, I'll put a piece of metal, bend it over so it's pointing right at it. Then I'm going to turn the engine over with a drill and see if it's flashing right at that point every time like it should. And actually it will change as the speed of the engine changes because of those weights on the governor. But I'm gonna, that's the only thing I can think of, is that something's just not right. It's just not, won't pop at all. And that's totally unusual, even with gas put directly into the cylinder. Usually they'll fire once or twice when you do that. And this one's just not doing it. I've checked the Woodruff key on the crankshaft. It's fine. I got spark, I got compression, about 110 pounds, which should be good enough to get this thing fired. So, I don't know. I don't have much hair, but I'm pulling it out quickly. So, we'll see what we can do.